Okay, recording this video on Sunday, the 5th of October 2025. Just gone 3:11 a.m. Chicago time. Do hope you are doing well. So it's the weekend, time for another weekend futures market recap, where I go through 15 of the largest futures markets and I show you what I'm seeing on my charts. Do hope you had a good week's trading. It's up and away. Reached 6,800 on the E-mini this week. So fun and games for everybody. We didn't have another setup short on the 13,500 tip bar chart, but there was plenty of action this week. We're going to go through the E-mini charts first, then going to talk about a follow-up from the three signals that were lining up for last week. 2 out of the 3 worked out nicely. We had one signal this week that was interesting, and we've got 5 signals lining up with professional activity for next week. So quite a few things to talk about. So as usual, we'll start with the E-mini charts. We've got a daily chart here at ES.D, which is the day session only, but the day and night session looks identical to this. And we've overshot resistance on the lowest time frame here on better sine wave. We're still in an uptrend. The background's in red because in terms of price and volume, we're in an uptrend. Nothing happened in terms of volume patterns or momentum patterns this week on the daily chart, so we're still strong. But at some point, this cyclical resistance on the highest time frame is going to play in, so we'll see when that shows up. 135-minute chart, our nice little pullback to end of trend on the lowest time frame here showed up, which was nice. So potential left shoulder happening here on the market, but nothing in terms of momentum patterns, professional bars and so on. Uptrend because the background's in red. The trailing stop is miles away at 62.96. 45-minute chart. Now, a little bit of activity this week. The support came in, pull back to end of trend on the intermediate time frame here. You can see that. And then our little sell-off that we had, we ended up with exhaustion, sell, bullish divergence, and we bounced from there. But apart from that, we got nothing in terms of blue professional bars, amateur bars, momentum patterns, and so on this week on the 45-minute chart. 15-minute, here we are. We put in our solid yellow vertical lines to show the beginnings and the ends of the week. So we gapped up with Sunday night into Monday morning's activity, sold off a little bit. You can see the blue professional bars came in on that sell-off. They were not taking profits at the highs. Last week's activity that we topped out came with an exhaustion buy, bearish divergence, and we rolled over from there. Blue professional bars came in on that little retrace, not here on the lows on the 15-minute at least, but on this little weakness that we had, blue professional bars step in. You know, for the trend to change, all of these patterns need to look different. We need to see patterns like this, exhaustion buy, bearish divergence, but we need to see blue professional up bars at the highs, and we're not seeing that at the moment. So we've come off a little bit. You can see the momentum this week on the 15-minute chart is pretty weak, so coming down there, but we've got, again, this stop is quite a ways away, so we've not turned into a downtrend on the 15-minute chart yet, although we have put in, that's the pullback to end of trend cyclical patterns on better sine wave. 13,500 tip bar chart, a little bit more interesting here. So this was last week's signal that we got because we had all these blue professional bars taking profits, exhaustion buy, bearish divergence comes in, little squeeze, and we get a trending move out of a squeeze pattern there, ends up with exhaustion sell down at the bottoms. And I was thinking we need to test, we need to have blue professional bars come in on the way down here, but no, we kept on moving up. We gapped up, started strong on the Sunday night, came down, blue professional bars. We fussed around there and then quickly made this little low on that 15-minute chart and then bounced from there. But blue professional bars seemingly taking profits at these highs and then up here and up here, but we kept on moving up and up. We never generated a reversal signal throughout this move, and the background's been red throughout that move up. The momentum's been weak all week. So we'll see this week if we get a little bit of a blow-off move with blue professional bars at the highs, and then we break the trailing stop. We'll have to wait and see. This was a surprise to me that it was so strong into that move, but that's what the market's all about, just surprising people. So on better sine waves, looking a little bit weaker, we've got some signals starting to line up short, but better sine wave always signals early here. So let's see if we break this trailing stop and then see if we got a signal trip on the 13,500 tip bar chart on the E-mini this week. So there we go, those are the E-mini charts. Let's talk about the signals that we saw lining up at the end of last week. The first one was Japanese Yen, and this was the signal. We had a whole bunch of blue professional bars. That's what I'm looking for on these higher time frame tip bar charts. Background's in blue, the bars are blue, we've got an exhaustion buy getting the move going, we get a signal, bang, and there we go, lovely, beginning of the week. the yen rallies strongly, so that's really good. So that was last week's setup. We had another one with Ethereum, same type thing. We didn't have exhaustion patterns down here, but a whole bunch of blue professional bars. The background's in blue, which means super high average trade size. The professionals are really interested at 3,900. We got our signal and I rocket forward to, what was that, 4,005, almost 4,006 up there. So that was Ethereum, that was nice. Gold though, what was I looking at? I was looking at this signal from the week before. So we had exhaustion by some blue professional bars. We had one or two big pro bars come in there with the background in blue, and we weakened. And we were having a stair-step trade where the market was coming back up. We had a blue professional bar coming on the retrace. No blue professional bars at the lows here or here. But then market just held and rallied. And then this week's activity, a whole bunch going on. I mean, it's probably too much to ask for shorting gold at that point because it was still so strong and there wasn't enough blue professional bars to change the direction there. Similar thing on the Bitcoin chart, but we'll have a look at that in a second. So here we go with this week's activity. We've got a lot of blue professional bars coming in here, but seemingly on the retrace. At the moment here, the last time they were in at 38.40, exhaustion sell, and we've rallied from there. So we're still probably in an uptrend. Backgrounds in red we are with gold. So with natural gas, it was the only signal that really happened weak, and it was a whole bunch of blue professional bars come in here. We'd had our exhaustion buy getting us going, bearish divergence, then flush here, and then we kept on going up to almost 360, and then we weakened from there. I wouldn't suggest that's the end of the downtrend in that move in natural gas, but let's see if we have a little bit of a rally and then we continue to break through 330. So it's on natural gas. So last week's signals, Japanese yen, Ethereum and gold didn't work out. Natural gas during the week, and then lining up for next week looking pretty interesting. British pound. God knows why the British pound is rallying, but here we go at the end of the week. Blue professional bars step in, big pro bars, exhaustion sell, bullish divergence, and we've had a signal and the background's in red. So let's see if we get a continuation of the up move in British pound. Aussie dollar, similar type thing. Not a whole bunch of blue professional bars, backgrounds in blue, but bought this breakout here. We got a signal. No blue professional bars taking profits at the highs here on Aussie, but they come in on the retrace. So blue professional bars there holding the line at 65.80 and backgrounds in red. So let's see if we continue to rally up and get through 66.40s up here. And 10 years also looking interesting. Signal a little bit midweek here, but we've done nothing. We've raced away a little bit, but weakened. So let's see if this area holds and we break back above this 113 level. FOMC, I think it's on Wednesday this week, so let's see if that generates continuation of the uptrend in 10 years. And Bitcoin had a nice bottom here, 108. Not a whole bunch of blue professional bars. Came with exhaustion, sell, bullish divergence. We have professionals getting in, and here was the signal at the beginning of the previous week. And it's been a strong week in Bitcoin all week, so from 108, 110 up to 124, 125. Little bit of profit taking, exhaustion buy, bearish divergence. It's again difficult one to call because structurally, like gold, there's lots of things happening. So, but just be wary of that. Let's see how this works out. Super critical levels up here, previous highs, but that was some professional profit taking there. And lastly, corn. Corn signaled this week, but hasn't gone anywhere yet. With exhaustion, sell, bullish divergence, big pro bars coming in here. We overshoot a little bit. They come back again at this point. We get our signal long and we weakened at the moment. So let's see if we get continuation of corn above 424. There we go. A rip through the charts, see what the professionals are up to in the different futures markets. And just a reminder, if you've not caught any of the videos in the last week or so, we've got the better indicators now available on TradingView. So just want to make sure that everybody that's asked for the indicators for TradingView now know that they are available. So that's it from me. Hope your trading is going well and looking forward to next week's trade.